It is possible to defeat hunger, suffering, and disease. But what to do if you find yourself in a society full of propaganda? Will the protagonist be able to resist the state system, which is brainwashing on a technological level? How can he help his new friends, who do not even suspect that they are turning into living zombies?
Watch fantastic recaps by fans of the movies.
In the year 2157, humanity has put an end to wars, famine, and terrorism. The nature of the planet has been restored. Breakthroughs in the field of medicine have helped to defeat all diseases and unlock all the resources of the human body. The inhabitants of Earth explore new planets as they travel through the vast expanse of space, referred to as free explorers. One of those travelers is Maxim Kammerer. During the search, his ship is damaged by an asteroid and the young man makes an emergency landing on the nearest planet. Because of the accident, the ship explodes and the traveler has only one way out. To explore a new world, he has no way to return or contact Earth. The new planet seems similar to Earth, so Maxim hopes to find life here. He meets one of the natives, but the man seems to be hostile. To understand the native's language, Maxim uses a special device that he has implanted in his ear. A man named Zeph takes the young man prisoner and hands him over to the local authorities. The captive is interrogated with the help of a helmet that displays the person's thoughts on a screen. The authorities hand Maxim over to one of the soldiers, a corporal named Guy Guile, and order him to be transported to the capital. The young men are on their way to their new destination when a strange signal is heard in the air, during which all the military men fanatically start repeating the words of the anthem. During the trip, Maxim notices towers constructed in various parts of the planet. Guy explains that the structures protect the population from enemy missiles. While they are chatting, one of the towers explodes and piles debris on the convoy. Guy finds himself under the iron structures and cannot get out, but Maxim helps him. The corporal claims that the explosion was organized by enemy agents. Guy and Maxim continue their journey on foot and arrive in the capital. At this time, the head of the Special Investigation Department, who goes by the name of Stronic, orders his subordinate Fank to bring the prisoner to him, another influential official in the country. The prosecutor learns of Stronic's interest and orders his aide to find out all the information about the situation. The towers in the city are activated just as they were at the military training ground where Maxim saw them in action. The prosecutor prepares for their launch, sits down in the bathroom, and inserts a special rod in his mouth. Fank delivers the prisoner to Stronic. But when the towers get activated, he starts to have a seizure. In the ensuing panic, Maxim escapes from his escort, wanders around the city, and explores the alien life. Meanwhile, in one of the government buildings, a meeting of the heads of state, whom everyone calls unknown fathers, begins. Maxim finds himself in a small cafe where he stands up for a waitress who was harassed by a rude visitor. The girl thanks the young man for his help, and they get acquainted. It turns out that her name is Rada Guile, and Guy, whom Maxim already knows, is her brother. The Earthman is walking the girl home when they are attacked by a gang, which included a customer who molested the waitress. Maxim quickly deals with the attackers, and Rada invites him to her house. Sometime later, Guy arrives. Maxim watches the behavior of his new friends and soon realizes that they, like other people, are under the strong influence of state propaganda. They even reject scientific facts, such as the existence of space. Rada claims that their planet is hollow and humans reside inside a sphere. During a conversation with Maxim, Guy tells him about their planet named Saraksh, which he claims was saved by the unknown fathers. It was they, Guy claims, who built the defense towers that protected the population from enemy missiles and prevented wars. None of the inhabitants know their name, not believing them to be rulers. They serve the people. Guy helps Maxim enlist in the army. During training, the Earthling demonstrates excellent weapon skills, which surprises both his friend and the command. The guys spend a lot of time together and discuss the structure of the world on the planet. Guy tells that neighboring states hate them. Previously, they were all part of a single country with a common history, but now they are divided. Maxim also spends a lot of time with Rada, and romantic feelings arise between them. One day, Maxim's group is tasked with raiding and capturing rebels known as Degenerates, recognizable by their frequent seizures during tower activations. During the raid, one of the rebels attempts to kill the group's commander, but an Earthman intervenes in time, saving the commander. He also attends the interrogation of the captives in the role of a guard. Maxim realizes that the captives are not terrorists, but ordinary people who have their own views on the structure of the state. He disagrees that they just hate the country because of money. Meanwhile, Fank informs Stranik that he has discovered a former captive in the army. Squad commander Maxim assigns him the last stage of checking the guy. He has to execute the captives. He takes them to the forest, but frees them there. When Maxim returns to the commander and guy, he tries to explain to them that their act is unjust, but the squad leader does not listen and shoots the Earthman several times. At this time, the unknown fathers hold a meeting, where the prosecutor insists on conducting a military operation in a neighboring state, but in order for the invasion to take place, they need a pretext. The rulers agree. The occasion is an attack on one of the towers. A group of rebels finds Maxim alive, and his body recovers faster than normal humans, healing his wounds. Among them there is a doctor who cannot believe his eyes. With such injuries, the guy should have died. Members of the resistance tell Maxim that the unknown fathers are not rescuers, but ordinary conspirators united to seize power. So their towers are not defenses against attack. They are emitters that create a special signal that puts people into a state of hypnosis and makes them more amenable to government propaganda. Those who are able to resist this radiation experience unbearable pain. Their brains resist and are not affected by the signal. Such people are a minority, and the authorities call them degenerates and rebels, galvanizing society against them. They are sought to be eliminated because they do not maintain control and pose a threat to the rulers. According to the rebels, fighting degenerates allows the government to distract the people from internal problems, corruption, poverty, and so on. The towers are activated twice a day, at which time anyone who cannot adapt to the radiation is in severe pain. In addition, there are installations on military and patrol vehicles that affect people locally. The degenerates themselves explain their struggle by saying that they are resisting those who threaten their lives. Their goal is not ultimate, and they are only trying to survive by mitigating daily suffering. At first, the rebels do not accept Maxim into their circle, even voting to eliminate him. However, after learning that in addition to sympathy, the Earthman is also able to help reduce the pain of radiation, they change their minds. Now those who previously voted to eliminate Maxim recognize him as a valuable ally. The rebels decide to include the young man in an operation to destroy one of the towers. The group is completely unaware that this operation was organized by the unknown fathers to provide a pretext to initiate an invasion. During the attack on the facility, the rebels manage to achieve their goal, but all of them die. The only survivor turns out to be Maxim. It also becomes known that one of the rebels was an accomplice of the unknown fathers and provided them with all the information about the militia's actions. Maxim comes home to Rada and Guy, where he shares some horrifying revelations with his friends. His comrade is not ready to believe what he says, but advises him to leave town and return to where he came from. Despite disagreeing, he is asked to return after settling into his new place and get his sister out of there. Rada, despite her feelings for Maxim, also doubts his story. At this time, the military infiltrates the apartment and arrests Maxim for taking part in the attack on the radiating tower. In detention, the Earthman meets Zef, the first inhabitant of this planet he encountered, who turns him over to the authorities. In the course of the conversation, it is revealed that Zef has also joined the resistance. Meanwhile, Stranik asks the prosecutor to deliver the detainee Maxim to him. He claims that the prisoner is not an ordinary Highlander, as others believe, but a mutant that he intends to investigate. Stranik promises in return to provide the prosecutor with the first version of a protective helmet that provides protection against exposure to radiation signals. His department is currently working on developing this protective device. However, his interlocutor demands one more favor. He asks that work on improving the power of the emitters be suspended. Maxim and his new comrades, Zef and Vapir, are sent to forced labor. They are to eliminate old military robots left over from previous wars. The prosecutor tries to find out why Stranik is interested in Maxim and discovers that the Earthling is completely unaffected by the signals emitted by the Saraksh towers. Deciding not to agree to the terms he offered his colleague, the prosecutor orders the detainee to be handed over to him. At this time, Maxim and Zeph discuss the strategy of attacking the rebels against the emitter towers. The Earthman proposes not to disable the facilities one by one, but to attack the central hub from where the signals to the repeaters are transmitted. In his opinion, single attacks are useless. Then Zeph becomes furious and decides to tell Maxim the whole truth about the repeater towers. According to him, they are not just devices that help detect degenerates and rebels, and they are not turned on twice a day. The towers operate continuously, but with less power. Under the influence of their radiation, people become more susceptible to information. They begin to believe any information: radio, newspapers, priests, or officials. The towers help to inspire the population with the right feelings: anger, rage, or admiration. The only people who can resist the power of radiation are the degenerates. According to Zeph, the entire ruling elite consists of them. The authorities must be able to think and analyze the situation. The rest of the degenerates, who are not part of the ruling elite, have been declared enemies of the state. Maxim asks if there are at least 1,000 people on the planet who, just like him, do not experience the signal's effects. Zeph tells him that there are mutants living south of their country who, like Maxim, do not feel the signals of the emitter towers. He says that they could help the guy, but the way there is through mined areas. Then Maxim finds one of the autonomous robot tanks and disables the machine controls. He informs his friends that he is going south, though VPR tries to talk him out of it. The Earthman then questions why the true purpose of the towers is not told to the rank-and-file rebels. His interlocutor believes that the top resistance is withholding this information, so that when they get power over the towers, to use them in their own way. Maxim claims that even the new rulers will continue to send signals to carry out propaganda. He's sending equipment south. At the border, he has to stop near a roadblock. Among the military personnel who stop the tank is his friend Guy. Maxim kidnaps the friend and breaks through the roadblock. The tank moves further south past the wind farms. It brings hope to the other inhabitants of the planet that Maxim may overthrow brutal dictators and set the people free.
Watch fantastic recaps by fans of the movies.
What choice do you think Maxim had, and what alternative ending to the story could have been? You are the heart and soul of our channel. Thanks to you, we make interesting and useful content. The best way to thank us is through your opinions and comments below the video.